Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, SKN.
Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Mimi, and we're going to take a brief look at the weather, and it's actually really sunny today with just a 10% chance of showers. So yeah, another beautiful day here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Indeed. All right. So we're moving on to the latest in local news. And schools across the Federation reopened face-to-face instruction on the 24th of January. And we have some bullet points from the Minister of Education. Of course, the Minister of Education expressed gratitude to the staff and ancillary workers at the school for their continued support during this trying time. As many of you remember, the school's opening was delayed because of concerns concerning the coronavirus, the spread of Omicron in the community. In addition, the minister alluded to certain changes that would be made concerning the operation of the schools, including that students now will eat lunch on campus. So they're not allowed to leave during lunch breaks. So those of you who don't want to partake in school meals, which is an option, you're encouraged to have your lunch with you when you go to the schools. Another change is that parents must make appointments to visit the schools. And of course, these changes coming because of concern about the spread of the Omicron virus. The minister also underscored the importance of in-person learning and said that in-person learning is best for all of the students. So again, schools reopened on the 24th with certain changes. Please do take note of them.
So we're going to go on to our other local story. St. Kitts and Nevis records 3 additional COVID deaths in the last 24 hours. And this news is coming from WIN FM. Health officials are reporting 3 additional COVID-19 deaths in St. Kitts and Nevis. The news came on Sunday, January 23rd, in the COVID-19 situation report issued via the St. Kitts Health Promotions Unit Facebook page. There are 31 new COVID deaths reported in the Federation, 25 in St. Kitts and 6 in Nevis. 16 additional cases were also reported, bringing the confirmed cases count to 5,227, 4,495 in St. Kitts and 775 on Nevis. Active cases now stand at 619 and recovered at 4,620. So again, just a reminder that the COVID-19 virus is still alive. I know that we had lots of numbers in December. They're going down tremendously. So that's something to celebrate about, but we can't get too comfortable just yet.
Absolutely not. And another local news, this one coming from Nevis as well. It concerns education as well. Schools on Nevis reopened. So schools are now fully reopened in the Federation. And Premier and Senior Minister of Education and Senior Minister of Health on Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, has joined the call for parents and guardians to get their children vaccinated. This report from 1FM. The minister says, quote, I am to encourage our students to do their very best and to ensure that they adhere to the protocols and to encourage the parents to ensure that they are vaccinated and where possible for their children, that they have them vaccinated as well. So this is very important because as we see, the Minister of Education, Senior Minister of Education is also the Senior Minister of Health, and he's encouraging, of course, safety at this time. So again, vaccination numbers are going up, but children, they rolled out a little later. So if you can get your children vaccinated for the safety and benefit of everyone involved, not just your family, but the people who are interacting with your children, the minister is encouraging you to do that. Incredible news as we talk about COVID. We talked about deaths a little while ago. We are going through a 4th wave apparently, but hopefully things will get better. Condolences, obviously, Mimi, to the bereaved loved ones of those who died, and encouraging all of you out there to stay safe. So that brings us to the end of the latest in local news. We will be back with more Good Morning SKN as we continue the regional and international segments of the latest when we return.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. you don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Yeah, I know we can make it. It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gonna be safe. Everybody gonna be one kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll up, yeah. 'Cause no man's alone. Do what's right, alright. 'Cause I love you, brother, my sister, and we're in this together, my sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Hey, I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll up to roll out.
You're watching Good Morning SKN. We are continuing the latest in regional news. The story coming from the Caribbean Media Corporation, CMC. Former Trinidad and Tobago Police Commissioner Gary Griffith says he makes, quote, no apology for providing citizens with the opportunity to protect and defend themselves, end quote, after a retired Court of Appeal judge described the issuance of Firearms Users License, FUL, by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, as, quote, a thriving, well-oiled, white-collar criminal enterprise, end quote. The Sunday Express newspaper in Trinidad said retired appeal court judge Stanley John had been appointed by the former Police Service Commission, PSC, to inquire into allegations of corruption in the issuance of FUL. John, in his report, recommended a police probe into several matters raised during his investigation, and that, quote, the errant persons be brought to justice and not be allowed to go free. My investigation leaves me with the firm view of the existence within the TTPS of a highly dysfunctional system for processing applications for fulls and other related licenses or permits. The system is replete with opportunities for illegal, irregular, and other corrupt practices. So this statement being made, of course, by the retired judge, who says also clearly the advantage taken of these opportunities has been widespread. Interesting news coming from Trinidad and
Very
Tobago.
interesting, but not surprising.
By that report, not surprising. Well, okay, not surprising to
Not surprising.
you. It's surprising to me. But I suppose anything that you can do to improve the working of the system that seems to have loopholes in it is not a bad thing.
I mean, there's loopholes in several systems in the Caribbean. But again, I'm happy that light is being shed on that. So maybe, hopefully, they'll get it resolved.
Hopefully.
All right. So moving on to our last story in the latest, and we're going to take a look on the international scene. Thierry Mugler, iconic French designer, dies at 73 years old. And this is coming from CNN. French fashion designer Thierry Mugler was flamboyant creations, transformed haute couture, and died at the age of 73, according to a message posted on his official Instagram account. We are devastated to announce the passing of Mr. Manfred Thierry Mugler on Sunday, January 23rd, 2022, the post read, using his full name. May his soul rest in peace. The designer's brand, Mugler, also confirmed the news via an Instagram post, describing its founder as a visionary whose imagination as a courtier, perfumer, and image maker empowered people around the world to be bolder and to dream bigger every day. He was born in Strasbourg in France in 1948. Mugler worked as a freelance designer in Paris before launching his eponymous label in 1974. By the 1980s, he has established himself as a major figure in international fashion with his structural, broad-shouldered designs, emphasizing the shape and the decades extravagance in style. So some sad news for the fashion world, an iconic designer passing away, but I hope that his vision will live on.
Indeed.
So this brings us to the end of the latest news. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more exciting stuff on Good Morning SKN.
I'm here to say kids, Nevis, with the name from us I represent for the Ministry of Health. Yeah. Respect the COVID protocols. In a time like this, all for one for all. St. Kitts Nevis. Don't forget your mask. Wear it everywhere you go. Sanitize before and after everything you do. Cause you never know what's on the surface of the places you go. Maintain a safe social distance between me and you. Keep calm and stay focused. Don't be a fool, seek the facts first. And boost your immune system up. Don't wanna lose no more of us. Mask up, furlough, sanitize. Observe the protocols all about. Be wise. Mask up, furlough, sanitize. Me family fitting boat. And you. Blessed love and greetings. This is Infamous, and I am here to encourage every Kittitian and Nivision to remember that we have our part to play in the fight against COVID-19. So sanitize, wear your face mask, practice social distancing, and go and get vaccinated. For me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Easy no man.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
It's been 6 months now and Glenn hasn't been working. His attitude has completely changed and he's been leaving the house every day for hours and liming with his friends and coming home drunk and causing confusion.
Gloria, this is what you cook today? This is not enough food for a big man like me.
But Glenn, it's been 6 months now. You haven't given me any money to shop for food.
Okay, so what you want me to do if my boss ain't called me out for work as yet?
Look for a different job now.
What you just said to me?
Get a next job.
What?
Help! Let me go!
Let go what? Yeah, let's see what really happened. Let go what? Watch your mouth with me now.
The weekend mom and dad fight. When are they going to stop?
Domestic violence is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, economical, and psychological. If you, your friend or family member is being abused, you can contact one of the numbers listed below for help. Department of Gender Affairs 662-5492, Special Victims Unit 662-7077, Counseling Unit 465-5000. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Good morning again. You're watching Good Morning SKN. Pregnancy on its own is a very demanding experience mentally, emotionally, and of course, physically. Varicose veins, swelling, mood swings, backaches, heartburn, fatigue, and sleep loss. These are just a few of the side effects that pregnant women experience. Since its announcement in 2022, COVID-19 is one of the additional concerns for pregnant women. Naomi Brownbill is a staff nurse at the Joseph N. France Hospital. Today, she's here to give us insight on how pregnancy is during the pandemic. So welcome her. Hi, Ms. Brownbill, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
All right, wonderful to have you here today. So let us know, is it safe to have a baby in the middle of a pandemic?
Yes, it's safe. You can get a baby during the pandemic.
Are there any additional concerns?
Well, the additional concerns is basically related to the COVID-19 infection, but there are preventative measures that you can utilize to help to prevent you from becoming infected during the pandemic while pregnant.
In terms of these preventative measures, Nurse Brownbill, I have to say, well, to be honest, I'll go back to the question Mimi asked you for a little bit as to whether it is safe to have a baby in the middle of the pandemic. As someone who is not in the health sector, I have to say I'm grateful that you said it's actually okay, because I was looking at the protocol, was looking at social distancing and thinking, with all of the concerns that we have concerning grown-ups and the spread of the virus, I don't know if pregnancy would perhaps be the pregnant women would be experiencing additional strain or stress concerning the protection of their babies. So to hear you say that there are precautions that they can take to ensure that their babies are safe is very reassuring. What I have to ask you now is, in terms of the prenatal and postpartum care at the hospital, has the pandemic affected your work in any way concerning that?
Okay, in relation to prenatal and postnatal care, there has been some changes we've had to make. But in relation to the care itself, there hasn't been much changes. You still receive the recommended number of prenatal visits, and you still receive the recommended postnatal visit. One of the changes that we had to make was in relation to visitation, and we also had to make change in, the usual preventative measures where you use hand sanitization, such as your hand washing with soap and water, utilization of your mask. That's one of the things that we have put in place. All pregnant women, they will have to wear a mask at all times, especially while they are in the labor and delivery room, because one of the exercises that we utilize in the labor and delivery room is deep breathing exercises. So, and we usually have to be very close to the patient. We are providing care, so we will not be able to social distance from the patient. So a mask is very important during that time. But in relation to the prenatal and postnatal care in itself, it's still the same.
Okay. So you mentioned, of course, in the delivery room, there are certain protocols in place. Are those protocols different if the mother is COVID-19 positive?
Okay. If the mother is COVID-19 positive, we have a designated delivery room for patients who are COVID-19 positive. So they would not utilize the regular delivery rooms that we have. We have a designated delivery room for those patients.
Okay,
but
that completely makes sense.
That delivery room has all the necessary equipment that is needed for women in labor.
That's great to know.
Have there been any other changes concerning pregnant women? Because there is some information, apparently, let's call it word on the street, that there have been cases among pregnant women, and you basically confirmed that, as well as speaking to the measures that you use to ensure that the virus isn't spread in any way. I do have to ask, though, concerning pregnancy and COVID-19 positive women, have we seen cases, or are you aware of cases where the babies themselves are born inoculated against the virus, so to speak?
Could you please repeat the question for me?
Okay, the question is, if we have a positive, a mother who's positive with COVID-19, do you know of any cases where the baby would be born somewhat immunized against the virus?
No, I don't know of any cases.
All right.
I think that's good to know.
Pardon me?
I said, I think that is good to know.
Yeah.
And what about mother to child spread? How do we prevent that in the event that a mother who is giving birth has COVID-19?
Okay, for the mothers who are COVID-19 positive and give birth, we still, once the mom is stable and she's not critical meaning that she's not in any severe respiratory distress where she's unable to breathe on her own and she's having difficulty breathing. Once she's stable enough, we don't separate mommy and baby. We still encourage women, which is very important. We still encourage breastfeeding. Baby will stay with the mommy 24 hours per day. But we encourage the mommy to wear her mask at all times especially when she's caring for the baby. We encourage her and remind her about hand washing. And when we say hand washing, we don't just mean the hand sanitizers, we mean
Actually
hand
washing
with soap and water.
Yes.
So we encourage that. We encourage her to keep the area clean, including the frequently touched areas. We expect that she will keep that area clean. She wash her hands and use her mask. But she cares for the baby as normal.
And what about feeding the baby? Is there any chance?
If in the event that mommy is having respiratory distress and she needs critical nursing care, then the nurse will care for the baby and the mommy will be transferred to an area for critical care.
But I was asking, what about breastfeeding the baby? If the mom is COVID-19 positive, is it possible to transmit the disease via breast milk? Just curious.
No, you still encourage breastfeeding. Breast milk has the properties to help to build the baby's immune system also. So breastfeeding.
I know you guys always promote that.
Nurse Brumbill, as a nurse in your capacity, I'm sure that you receive a lot of questions from pregnant women concerning, the health of their baby, etc. In addition to what we've asked you so far, have there been additional concerns that you'd like to address, or is there anything that you'd like to say just to allay the fears of families who are expecting babies during this time?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question clearly.
Okay, I will go again. Yes, certainly I will. So I was asking if there is anything that we've not asked you so far that you could say you've been asked by pregnant women and concerning, the health of their babies and transmission, and or is there anything that you would like to say just to allay the fears of the general public concerning pregnancy and COVID-19?
Okay, some persons have asked if they are COVID-19 positive, if that means that the baby is COVID-19 positive as well. And the answer to that is no. We've had some cases where the mom might be COVID-19 positive and the baby is not positive. So that's one of the questions we tend to get.
So, I'm gathering from all of this that mothers need not be particularly worried in terms of having a baby during this time. Can I say that's a fact?
Yes. No need to worry. It's
be
like
careful.
a normal delivery.
Well, how much of that do you think is attributed to the health system in general? Because I know that in general, we've had campaigns out there, encouraging these social distance protocols and everything else. So as someone who is in that field, as someone who, even talks about the way that you implement those measures on your job, have there been challenges to implementing it? And what can you tell us about the way that you've been coping with COVID-19, even as a health worker?
Well, in the beginning, in preparation for COVID-19, you know, it was a bit, I would say somewhat a bit of a challenge at first. You know, COVID-19 was new. We were preparing for something that we had very little information about. But presently, I would say that we are prepared for any mother who presents with COVID-19.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes, I'm sure that's very comforting to all mothers and expecting mothers around this time. So thank you so much, Naomi Brownbell. It's been a pleasure. And again, great news as it relates to pregnant and expecting mothers. Thank you so much for joining us here on Good Morning SKN.
Thank you.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right now at Good Morning SKN.
Next, please.
Good morning, Mommy. How are we today?
We are okay. I brought in Bobby to get her first HPV vaccine to secure her from this cancer-causing menace. I'm just trying to make sure my girls have a chance at enjoying life, you know?
You look unsure about something. Are you okay?
I'm a little nervous. My boyfriend found a lump here the other day, and now I'm freaking out.
I understand how you feel, but let's take care of Bobby first. First, let me explain about this vaccine, the HPV vaccine. The HPV vaccine protects both boys and girls. This vaccine can prevent most cases of cervical cancer and some cases of sexually transmitted infections. Mommy, that's it for Bobby. Can we talk privately for a few minutes? It's really good that you told me about your boyfriend finding the lump. I'm glad that you weren't too scared. Mommy, when was the last checkup? I mean, which includes your breast examination and the pap smear.
Honestly, I don't know anything about pap smears. Is that something you do during childbirth? Because if that's the case, I would have done it twice, right?
A pap smear is an examination of your vagina and the pelvis area. It should be done for females between the ages 18 to 69 at least once a year. The World Health Organization recommends that the doctor or nurse that is doing the examination remove the cells from the cervix and check for any abnormal cells, cancer, and the human papillomavirus, which causes cervical cancer. If females get regular tests, anything unusual or abnormal can be treated and seen in its early stages. The girls are being vaccinated before age 13 to reduce the risk of getting cervical cancer. Women tested early and girls vaccinated can help us end cervical cancer. Don't be afraid. It's a simple examination which will be over very soon. Come on, let's get tested.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. In our previous segment, we discussed with Naomi Brownbell about the effects of COVID-19 on pregnancy. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit as we look at the effects of COVID-19 on local businesses. Vibes Beach Bar and Grill is one of the most famous bars on the Strip. At Frigate Bay in St. Kitts, it is the perfect balance of fun nightlife with the excitement of a sports bar and the elegance of a beach bungalow. The modern and chic ambiance provides for a relaxed, clean, and fun environment with good music, televised sports, and tasty bits, all while admiring the Caribbean sunset. Vibes invites all patrons to come and feel the vibe. Roy Hendrickson, the owner of Vibes Beach Bar and Grill, is here to share with us what he did to accommodate the daunting experience of the pandemic. Roy,
I heard you blow up when you said daunting.
Morning.
Morning.
All right, so first of all, is Vibes Beach Bar your first undertaking?
No, it's not. I started off another entity called Caribbean Journey Masters, which is a tour operator. We handle tours and excursions for cruise ships, hotels, resorts.
Okay, so Vibes was in existence since 2012. When did you acquire it, and why were you attracted to a business like that?
Interesting question. It's a tall challenge, to be very honest. And I decided after delving deeper into the cruise ship sector and realizing that we were a little short on beach bars, I sort of needed to find a location where I could take my sun-seeking guests from the ship. At the time, Vibes primarily opened at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. They didn't do anything during the day. Frigate-based trip was mostly just a nightlife, very quiet. And I decided, well, you know, let's see what could happen. So I pursued the owner, and he said, finally, yeah, I'll sell. We agreed on a price, and I started bringing in all of the relevant material, beach chairs, umbrellas, etc., to get it going. It took me about 2 cruise ship seasons before I could actually see some benefit from it, and then COVID. So I took over Vibes actually in the 2013. That's when I started with it, and you know, we had a good run going, and then once COVID hit it.
I could understand.
So tell us about that a little bit. So COVID hit, your experience as the entrepreneur, owner of Vibes Beach Bar, what was going through your mind, and what changes did you have to make?
Well, first and foremost, I would have to say COVID would last 2 to 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, and then we'd be fine. I remember I went to St. Martin in February of 2020 for my birthday. Big 5-0. Yeah, had a good time. And while we were there, St. Martin had their first COVID case. And that opened my eyes and changed the game. After I see people in the hazmat suits and the realm of uncertainty, it started to rock my boat, so to speak. When we came back, we started seeing that many of the cruise ships were not allowed to dock because they had onboard cases, and the uncertainty. Even my staff didn't want to go to work because you're fighting something that's invisible, if you see what I'm saying. So we started taking whatever measures as per the guidelines from the local health organization, which at the time was not clear. Let's go down and see what happened. And then eventually the ships pulled out. So this is in February of 2020. We started hearing about it in late 2019, but now we are actually living it. And then all the business evaporated. Now, if you know cruise business, the season starts in October, but you really don't start getting the real meat of it until January, February, go right down till about April. We didn't have that, and then we went through the whole of 2020 without doing any real business, shut down, open, shut down, open. Staff needing to be paid, you're wondering how to do it and how it works. And then, of course, this continued into 2021, and here we are in 2022. But what did we do? Basically, we had to change the game, started making an effort to do business with more of, for example, businesses in terms of the police was one of our biggest customers. They were the only ones that were working, the only game in town.
Right.
You know, we negotiated with them to start doing a meal plan for them and all of that. And, you know, we did it for cable television for a short while and Caribou here and there. Different little things we were trying just to keep moving over. Luckily for us, though, we were able to negotiate a contract with the Football Association. And because the football team had to be traveling for the World Cup qualifiers, even though COVID was taking place, we were, and they were quarantining. No vaccination at the time, so they were quarantining for 14 days. So sometimes they had matches in between, and we had to, everything was sterile, kept away from everybody. That's kind of how we survived. They were either at the OTI, then at CAI, and then at Marriott, different places all the time. You know, we were just able to get over the top. Quite honestly, everything fell behind, bills, etc., etc. Right? To come out of it, yes, the ships are here, but the challenge now with the ships is that they are here in their numbers, but the onboard participation. For example, we had two ships yesterday in port, where we should have, say, a passenger count of near 6,000. It was just a little over 2,000.
Wow.
So the ship is there because it has to physically come. In terms of the participation, the people on board, numbers. So it's still ongoing.
Do you find that the cruise passengers who actually make it onto the cruises, are they willing to come out and explore and eat at our restaurants and take tours, or do you find them still a bit hesitant as it relates to experiencing the islands?
The St. Kitts usually falls about second or third on a cruise itinerary. So by the time the customer arrives here, they are more used to what is happening in the Caribbean. But I will assure if you were number one, it would be different. They'd be a little more apprehensive. So yes, they're coming off, and they're a little more, they're surprisingly more eager than us, the service providers. You know, they want to know if they could remove their mask. And their thinking is, as the outer world seems to suggest now, once you're vaccinated, double, or whether you've had the booster, you don't necessarily need the mask. We are still saying, wear the mask, wear the mask, wear the mask. And they're a little bit more exposed, a little more aggressive, to be very honest, to still see the island and to still get the full value of what they paid for.
Well, we'll ask more. We have lots more questions. We're going to take a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back. You are watching Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
So, nurse, what now?
Let me explain.
I'm going to put your feet in these 2-meter stands called stirrups. Your legs will be open. Then I will insert my fingers into your vagina and make a check. After that, I'll insert this. When that is inside of you and open up, I can see your cervix better. Then I will use these other devices to help me remove the cells from your cervix and check for the cancer and the HPV. Just relax. It will be over very soon.
Nurse, that wasn't so bad. I thought it would have been very painful.
I am glad your first experience was a good one.
So, when will I get the results?
The results usually return in 3 weeks. You have to come back here to the health center and I will explain. If there's anything abnormal, I will make a referral to your gynecologist.
Okay. Can I get the HPV vaccine my daughter got?
No, I'm sorry, you cannot. The World Health Organization and Pan American Health Organization did a lot of research and found out after persons are sexually active, the vaccine does not work as well.
So what's the best way to prevent me from dying from this HPV?
Just what you did this morning. Early and yearly screening for the HPV virus and checking for changes in the cervix with the pap test.
How do they know they're not sick?
I know, it's really sad. In 2014, 1 in 4 women in St. Kitts and Nevis were tested positive for one high-risk type of HPV. And in the last 10 years, the number of women with cervical cancer has increased.
See what I mean? But it's good that you could get the pap test, the HPV vaccine, and the breast checks all at the same time.
Yes, share what you've learned with your family and friends. We in the Ministry of Health are encouraging women to come and have these tests done every year because cervical cancer can be effectively treated if detected and diagnosed early. So let's both do our part. It's time to end cervical cancer.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We were talking with Troy all about Vibes Beach Bar. And Troy, I want to follow up on something that you said earlier, because we were talking about the reality of COVID-19 and what it meant for you as a business owner. In relation to your staff, how did COVID-19 affect that?
Well, for starters, post-COVID, we were a staff of 27. Now we are a staff of 13. We lost almost all of the staff, to be honest. We're still trying to find the right people for in the kitchen, to be example. For example, service staff, we have some new service staff who are in now. As the other entities are now opening, you find that the staff want to move on to something else. You know, everything has a cycle. It's a start, a middle point, and then an end. So, you know, staff move through. But it has been a tremendous challenge. We ran into a situation where, because of COVID, we had to make the choice to either remain open. So we had to ask the staff to not forget, but sort of allow us to slowly pay their vacation pay. We just paid it to them in December. So, you know, and I want to say thanks to them for that, for their patience. That was really, really crucial, because because remember, we never paid vacations all at once. It's a staggered payment. Now, because of the way things are happening and so forth, you now have to pay all of the money at once. And that would have put the business in a serious problem. So we had to ask them, and you put one date, you couldn't make it, you put another date, and then eventually it's, man, I just got to do it. And we did it. And I just want to say special thanks to everyone at the staff for being so patient, you know what I mean? And I really, really appreciate them. But it's a tremendous challenge. Even now, moving forward, we're doing events, but you know, with still the presence of COVID-19, which is not going away for a while, we can't have a DJ. The essence of what we do is having entertainment. So we've gotten creative in the sense that we play a lot more house music, which we never really did in the past. We always had a DJ. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. DJ. So, you know, sometimes when I listen to what the DJs are saying on the radio, they're really hurting, man. They need relief. The money's making, I mean, sometimes, I mean, nightly, we are paying a DJ $50 to $500. See the revenue that was spent. No, because you don't have it, you know, it's a little tricky.
I mean, I understand the challenges, and, you know, maybe as a small business owner myself, I could relate to some of them. But let's take a different spin on this. What are some of the lessons that you perhaps would have learned during this experience? Because I know for myself, it was a learning experience. It still is.
Well, first and foremost, I would say the world out there, micromanagement is not a bad thing. It is an important thing. And I had to learn to micromanage my businesses, where before I would have a manager and that person does as I wish. Now it's different. You have to be there. You learn that. Well, I always knew it, but now you have to practice it, that the stock on the shelf that's not moving is actually dead stock. So you have to find the right mix. Before, we could have gone to a Caribbean brewery and buy 100 cases of product. Now you ask yourself, how many cases do I need to get through a weekend? Whatever that number is, that is the number you buy. You don't want to buy and then you have product rolling over, which is really money that you could be using to do something else. So these are some of the simple things. At the same time, you also learn that customers don't always come in a dozen. Sometimes they come in 1 and 2s. Before COVID, you know, customers just ran through Vibes. Now, for a number of different reasons, more small businesses have grown up. Competition. You have to stay on the edge of your product at all times. These are some of the things that you probably would have overlooked. Now you have to really look at it. We used to use Wednesday as the day to get advertising out. Now you do it even earlier because you want people to know where they're going to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? And for us now, we are starting our weekend on a Thursday now when we never really did that before. But because you have to, you know, we are looking at balance in terms of, do we need to be open Monday night, Tuesday night? And try to find where it works best, because sometimes you are hemorrhaging money that you made on a good night just to stay open. So, you know, it's a different game now.
Yeah, it is. And again, and lots of lessons all of us, I think, had to learn to be able to survive this.
In our final moment, I want to give you an opportunity to get people prepared for the Thursday, the Friday, you know, coming to Vibes. So let us know what's on the menu and what we can expect.
Thank you. First and foremost. This weekend, we are going to truly be pushing the preliminary matches for Super Bowl 56. Sunday gone, we had a really good run. And especially so because my team, the 49ers, won. So
Congratulations.
We're moving forward. But if you're looking for something to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Vibes definitely is the place to be. We won't have live entertainment, but that doesn't detract from what we offer. We are up in the service. We have specials that we offer almost daily. If Saturday comes and you're looking for some good soups, Vibes is the place to definitely be. We've advanced our cuisine. Come on over, try it. We always have lobster, fresh mahi, fresh salmon, all of that good stuff. Come on over, enjoy it. Good fun, and I'll be there.
All right. So thank you, Troy, for sharing your experiences,
My pleasure.
of course, and inviting all of us to Vibes. I wish you the best of luck as we continue to recover from this pandemic. And really engaging conversation. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. My pleasure.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
This is Good Morning SKN with Mimi and Jamie on Studio 327. No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. Target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Have you ever considered building a home? Well, if so, today our next guest might just be the person you may need to contact. Carissa Roberts is the owner of KR Architectural Services, or CRAS. The company's clientele include the public and private sectors, as well as the ordinary citizen. Their aim is to continuously work towards their clientele's stamp of approval by ensuring their satisfaction. Welcome, Carissa.
Hi, Mimi.
Good to have you here on Good Morning SKN. So I know that one of the projects, because you've done a lot of work, but one of the projects that made you really, really popular was that stand that you did down at Black Rocks. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Well, that project came from the Whitegate Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a company that is responsible for development in the rural area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was contacted by the manager to create or develop a concept for a deck that they were thinking about building. Because I don't know if you recall how it was before.
Yes.
There were just some
a cliff and some ropes. Yeah.
So you go there and you look off at your own risk.
Right.
The intention was to improve it because, of course, we are heavily involved in tourism,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to make it more safe and a bit more daring for tourists and locals alike. But I think the locals enjoy it more.
Most, yes. I remember well, even now, everybody takes their birthday pictures
If you
every
don't
weekend.
have a birthday picture at Black Rocks, you're 2 years behind.
I have to say, I had no idea that you were to be credited for that, but I admire seeing it on my television when they do the overshoot, with the drone and everything, and it looks so incredible. What was it like, one, to be contacted for that, and two, when you realized that the project went viral?
To be contacted for that project, I was a bit skeptical because I'm like, what is this? This is so risky to create a design. But the company, of course, they believed in me. So that is all I needed to come up with the concept. They gave me the brief, so they were very helpful. Because, some persons, they might want something, but they have no idea what they want. But they were very forthcoming with the information.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it was a large team of persons. There's so many parts that we might overlook to getting that project done, but there was the design, and you have to have the engineering and the construction, because Black Rocks, as beautiful as it is, it's a very technical area to develop because you have sea blast, you have the wind, you have the cliff.
Lots of wind.
So there's so many things to consider. So I was most grateful to be part of the entire team who was responsible for that project.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie asked, what about going viral?
Oh, viral.
Did you expect that kind of response?
No, I did not. I honestly thought it would have just been something simple that, okay, it's just for the tourists. But I didn't expect locals to gravitate to it so much. I honestly forgot about the project because it happened. I started in 2015, and I was contacted in 2016. I forgot about it. I just happened to see it on Facebook, and I was like, this looks familiar. Oh, they started it, because I know these projects, sometimes they take time because they have to ensure that everything is in order. And when you construct something, you're responsible for people's lives, so you have to make sure everything is set. I honestly forgot about it, but I did not expect the publicity today.
Yes.
It was a shocker for me.
Well deserved, because you started your business at 21. So anybody who would be that bold to do this at 21, right?
Yes, KRA started at 21. And actually, I always remember that I said I would not start it until I was 30. I'm not yet 30. It's going to be 7 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what inspired you to start it? I mean, it seems like you had the vision all along, but what inspired you to start at such a young age?
It is a very emotional story, but I remember my boss asked me to do a house plan for him. I was like, I'm not yet ready to do that. I know what I need to do, but I'm not yet ready to be out there at 21. I'm a young woman. People might not take me seriously just because of age and my gender.
Yes.
So I was like, I'm not ready for this. And he encouraged me and told me everything will be all right. And that was my guinea pig. I like to call it my guinea pig project. And from since then, at the time, I was also pursuing studies at the University of the West Indies. So school was going on break, the second semester break in April, and I said, this has to be the time. So I gave myself 6 weeks to get everything in order, plan it out in my head. Even I was like, Lord, what am I doing? I don't know, let me just go through with it. And then I launched it on the 30th of May, 2015. That was a Saturday, I remember it good. And ever since then, I honestly have not looked back. I only look back and acknowledge the day to ensure that every year I keep doing something out of the box that I don't expect, because I'm still like, Lord, I'm not even 30 yet. How is this even possible? But it has been a rewarding experience. I mean, KRAS is everything that Kerissa is not. I like to put it that way, because that's the out-of-the-box person. That's the person who will come here and sit and talk with you. And then I might see you in town and say, hey, baby, hey, Jamie, and I go on. Have like an open and honest conversation. It's been a rewarding experience, honestly.
We are going to continue this conversation when we return from our break. Stay tuned, everyone.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. Target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
No cash, no card, no problem. JAD. Embrace the freedom. You're watching Good Morning SKN with Mimi Armstrong and Jamie Morris, live on Studio 327.
We are back on Good Morning SKN. We're talking with Carissa all about architecture, all about what you do very well. And I want to know now, are there any other notable projects that you'd like to mention other than the Black Rocks project, which you've become so well known for?
Okay, so I did the signs to the housing development at Brotherson Estate. That's just in the Newton Ground area. And it is, I like to consider it a gateway to a very, very beautiful area. I don't know if you've been to Ramada, the view that you see from Ramada, looking off to Central Stations, you can also see that at Brotherson Estate. I think Brotherson Estate is a bit better because it's low. So it's very nice. I also did work for the Ministry of Environment, where they contacted me to construct a restroom facility, of course, with handicap accessibility.
Wonderful.
For tourists and locals who use the Wingfield Estate area. Most persons would know that's where Sky Safari is. Also did the remodeling of the public market, Bastia Public Market meat section roof for that area. So I've done work on all aspects, and of course, my favorite, which is just houses.
You can say just houses are not a big deal. So Carissa, let's look at your training. Both your undergraduate and master degrees are in management. That's really interesting. And the latter is concentrated on project management. How has this led to your involvement in architecture?
Well, my philosophy is that you have to have the technical capabilities along with the soft skills and the interpersonal skills. Because what I find is that you have to be well-rounded, especially in business. You can't just know about your area, otherwise, unfortunately, you'll get left behind.
Correct.
So I decided that I would not just focus on architecture, I would focus on other fields, because these, of course, will help me to manage my business better and, of course, expand the business. Because as time goes on, there are different aspects of the field. I like to call it the built environment, because the whole big field. So let's say like project management, that is something that I have been interested in for a very long time. And it's something that I noticed that you have to do it every day. If you treat every situation like a project, you will always start and finish. So I wanted to be not just someone who is in the architecture field, but I wanted to be someone who is well-rounded. So if ever there's an opportunity outside of architecture, I can't say that as a young person, I cannot take that opportunity because I don't know anything about it. It is very detrimental to yourself to not know something about something else. So I just wanted to be a well-rounded individual and to ensure that I am more marketable than just being
an architect.
Yes, not any tunnel vision, any tunnel vision at all.
That's a great philosophy.
Do you hear the choir singing? Because the same way. Absolutely feel the same way. All right. So, in terms of what you've produced, would you consider your work a work of art or works of art? Or how do you, as the architect, look at your work?
How do I look at it? I will use the example of my own project. I like to call it the full circle. I like to name my projects. Okay? So I told you guys about the guinea pig. Now mine is a full circle. And in 2020, I decided that I'm going to be a bit self-serving, not in the bad aspect, but I was like, you know what? KRAS needs a space. And, you know, considering the climate that we are in, I was like, this space has to be attached to my home because there are times when we can't go anywhere. So I said, I had a plan since 2017. I did it for myself and said, let me put it down, let it marinate. And then 2020 came and I noticed what was happening in and around us. I was like, it's that time to take the biggest risk of all the risks that I've taken. And I was like, it's time to modify this, of course, the office space was already attached to the plan. I was like, need to make some tweaks, and it's time for me to get a space for myself, because I think that as a young person, having a space that people can identify, having a space that people can come to, they take it even more serious.
Of course.
Instead of just saying, maybe I'm going to meet you on Port Street or something. No. You have to be very professional. So when this space opened, of course, it opened on my last anniversary in the midst of, I think we were in lockdown too. So on the 30th of May, 2021, I opened my office space. And I think that for me, everything became full circle. Because I was like, I've done this for all sorts of other people. Why can't I do it for myself?
Right.
To build up myself. So yeah, that was it.
Well, I wish that we had more time to talk with you, of course, but this might not be the last time, because we'll see what else you do when you name the projects again, right? So first, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and sharing your experiences with us. And thank you for beautifying St. Kitts as well.
Yes.
All right, we will be back in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO.
And we're back on Good Morning SKN, and we haven't played a game in a minute, so I'm pretty excited. Countries tend to be identified by their unique style of architecture. We have with us Carissa Roberts, who is going to join Jamie and I as we loosen up. We're going to engage in some friendly rivalry. The three of us will attempt to identify a location, the name of the popular world the popular world landmarks. So join us as we loosen up. So here's how it works. 1 point to the guest that locates the place, and another point goes to the person who could name the landmark. So I hope these are not difficult.
Oh, we're about to find out.
Somebody is nodding their head saying yes. So I guess we'll find out now. Carissa, are you very competitive?
No.
So how do we start? Who goes first?
Me, I'm first.
Oh, man.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa. In Europe.
In Italy.
Europe is in Italy. Italy's in Europe. Sorry.
Name the country.
Okay. Fine. Fair enough.
All right. So, I'll get the second one. All right. So I snuck in a point there. All right.
Okay, that's fine.
We're waiting for the second image. All right. The Sydney Opera House in Sydney, Australia. Carissa, you're up. No pressure.
That's the Big Ben in London.
This is not as easy as I thought.
I don't know where that is. I don't know the name of that. It's in the ocean, part 1.
Oh, I know.
I don't remember the name. I've seen it before, but I don't remember the name.
It's my turn, and I'm going to pass to the expert here.
This is in Grenada. I don't remember the name of the sculpture, but it's underwater in Grenada.
Absolutely gorgeous. The underwater sculpture.
Guess that. I mean, she did say underwater sculpture.
You were close. You know. All right.
So we'll move to the next one. I've seen it before. This is in London, I think. In the UK somewhere, I don't know what the name is.
I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's in France, but I do not remember the name of the...
This is the pyramid in Paris, France.
And we're going to get the name.
The Louvre. Louvre. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It looks like a pyramid.
It does.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so whose turn is this? I don't remember now.
This is the Martin Luther King. This is the Martin Luther King statue park. I don't know where it is. Can I guess Washington? It's not in. Can I guess Washington? That's fine. Okay, that's my guess. Did I get it? Yeah. Because I was way behind. Let's go.
Ooh.
Oh, this is so very interesting. I feel like I should know where this is. Yeah, I'm going to be very general here. Is this in Mexico? No idea. Okay, it's not in Mexico. I don't know what it is. We're passing it to Carissa.
It almost looks like the Christ the Redeemer area, but it's not that. I'm not sure.
You're thinking Brazil, right?
Brazil?
The mountain area looks like that, yeah.
Okay. Let's just pretend yeah, we knew that one. Yeah.
Machu Picchu. Wow.
This looks like the Great Wall of China in China.
Whatever gave you that idea?
A wild guess. Wild guess.
Oh, I have been.
Seen this one before. I don't know the name though.
This is so very interesting. I'm just going to pretend that I know the location because I have no idea. South Africa. Go.
The name?
I don't know the name at all.
This is in New York? I don't know. I've never seen this one.
Oh, wow. How did you miss that one?
Oh, wow.
Do you hear the sound effects in the studio, by the way?
My Caribbean card just got revoked.
Wow. Your Yui card got revoked, both of you.
Never.
This looks like a Mayan temple in Mexico. A Mayan temple, Mexico.
Belize?
You're asking for the name.
Oh, temples.
Oh.
How do we even
pronounce that?
Okay. It is a Mayan temple, though. Okay. Yes. Come on. We've all been there. Come on.
It's Taj Mahal in India.
Yes. Bucket list. We were talking about bucket list the other day. That's on my bucket.
Okay. All right. We're not doing badly, Carissa.
We're not?
Too bad.
I feel like you know what this is.
Lord, I don't know.
Don't put it up yet. I think I know what it is.
I am supposed to know this.
It's not Stonehenge. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm thinking Stonehenge. That's what I'm thinking.
But that's why I said Stone on the Easter Islands.
The location.
Where's that?
We don't know.
I'm learning.
I'm not assuming Mimi's guess. I really don't know where it is. England. Stonehenge, England, yes. That was my initial
That was my point. That's my point on Jamie's point. I said first, though. I did.
It's getting serious.
Very competitive. Actually, I don't like to lose. I feel like I get 100 right.
I lost?
That's okay.
There's no losing. You're a winner. In second place.
I'm behind.
Oh, these points are actually wrong. Because we did more than...
Okay, so apparently we have updated points.
Right.
Why don't we just go ahead and see
I'm
it?
going to be like the people at Carnival, at Queen shows, they cheat.
Alrighty, so apparently, yeah, we have to double everything because we gave, the location, 1 point for the location, 1 point for the name. So here we go with those scores.
I have 8 points. Thank you.
And
Jamie has 6 points and Carissa has 4 points.
They cheat.
Well, you see, I said nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Jamie's accustomed to being second place.
They say 1,000 Frenchmen can't be wrong. I said nothing at all. That clearly is.
So again, thank you for playing with us. And again, thank you for joining us today. And joining us for 2 segments because you were here for Loosen Up. Are you feeling loose?
I feel a little hurt.
Yeah, that's the word.
But thank you for playing and thank you for being a good sport. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be right back with more Good Morning SKN.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
So you mentioned something about a lump.
Babe, I just felt something on the left side of your breast. Tell me if you feel it.
Do you do your self-breast examinations monthly?
No, I don't.
Well, women are supposed to examine their breasts once monthly. Let me show you how. When at home, you can check while standing in the shower or while lying down. Simply place a pillow under your right shoulder and your right arm behind your head. Using your left hand, move the pads of your fingers around your right breast, gently covering the entire breast area and armpit. Use light, medium, and firm pressure. Squeeze the nipple and check for discharge and lumps. I did find a lump in the upper left breast. I am not sure what this means. Therefore, I need to refer you to the DMO or you can see your private physician. The doctor is going to examine you and recommend an ultrasound or a mammogram. Listen, not every lump is cancer. 80 to 85% of the time, the lumps found are benign. That means they are non-cancerous. Lumps in the female breast or armpit can be non-cancerous tissue growth or fluid buildup, or a number of things that can present themselves at various times. But sometimes it's a sign of cancer. That is why I am referring you to see the doctor.
Okay, nurse. Thanks for your help.
You're watching Good Morning SKN.
It's Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. In commemoration of this, the Ministry of Health in the Nevis Island Administration, will be giving free pap smears on Saturday, 29 January 2022, which will be offered at all healthcare centers in Nevis. Pap smears, also called pap tests, are procedures that are done to test the cervical cancer in women. It involves collecting cells from the cervix, the lower narrow end of the uterus. Avril Walters, who is a community nurse in Nevis, is here today to explain the role of pap smears as a tool for detecting cell abnormalities. Welcome, Nurse Avril Walters. Hi, Ms. Walters. Good morning. So why did the Ministry of Health in Nevis decide to give free pap smears? And what exactly is a pap smear?
Actually, it wasn't the Ministry of Health. It was decided by Nurse Ermin Jeffers, who was our then coordinator of community services, that the numbers were looking very low. And so what can we do to increase our numbers for pap smear uptake? And so she said, since January is Cervical Cancer Month, maybe we can use that month and use a Saturday so we can attract more persons, because persons were complaining that the time and the day was not appropriate for them. And so hence, that's where it all started. She did the initiative.
Okay, and can you tell us exactly what a pap smear is?
A pap smear or pap test, that is usually called, is so simple. This is in my words though, just looking at the cervix and taking some cells from it to detect if there are any abnormalities or any changes in the cells, which can later lead to cervical cancer.
All right, Nurse, I have two questions for you. The first is, how often should the test be done? And the second concerns the numbers. As you mentioned, the numbers were low. What is the typical numbers that you see when it comes to testing? What is the ideal for you?
I'm just speaking to me because I don't hear you well.
She's not hearing me well, Mimi, so you can ask it.
Okay, so I'll ask the questions.
Okay.
So Jamie was asking, in terms of the numbers, I mean, being a female myself, I know once you get to a certain age, everyone should be having pap smears. So is that the case? Was that you're not seeing all women getting pap smears in Nevis?
No, we're not seeing all persons. The thing with the pap smear is that according to the American Cancer Society, they're saying they have a schedule and saying that the
cervical cancer.
They're saying that you can have a pap smear. Under 21, you don't need to have one. That's what they are saying. And they're saying that between ages 21 to 65, you can have it once every 3 years. However, we look at person's history, and we are saying if you are sexually active before age 21, 3 years after that, you should have your first pap smear. And we are also saying between age 21 to 65, you have if you have 3 normal pap smears, then we tell you once every 3 years. So we go according to the person's history. Take the history into consideration and tell them when we think they should have the pap smear. Because if we had a lady coming at age 70 for a pap smear, we can't tell her 65 has passed and she can't have it, because she may not have had a pap smear since she was 50. So what happened between there? So hence we have to kind of vary it accordingly.
Understood. So do you have an idea of what may be discouraging women from going and get pap smears?
Well, a lot of women, when we ask, they call the speculum a duck beak. And so they say they don't like the duck beak because it's very uncomfortable. I mean, not uncomfortable. Well, some say it's uncomfortable, some say it's painful. However, being a woman myself, I have had to take pap smears. So I know it is very uncomfortable. But for as far as the pain, I don't think it is that painful, but persons are different. And so if they feel pain, but we try as much as possible to make it comfortable for the client, and we explain to them and we make sure that we allay their fears the best way that we can.
Right. I mean, as a woman myself, it is uncomfortable, but it is, from my experience, it's not painful. And I think I would prefer a few seconds of discomfort as opposed to, having cervical cancer and not being aware of it. So can you tell us what happens when you test and there are abnormalities? What happens then?
Well, when we test and the result will come back from the lab, the result usually takes at least 4 to 6 weeks. When we took 4 to 6 weeks, unfortunately. So,
no, Jerry, not so long.
How long? Okay, when the results are back and there's an abnormality, the pathologist will usually say to us, this is the recommendation that he's recommended. We repeat it in 3 months or 6 months. Sometimes when we call the client for their results, what we do, we give them the information from the pathologist and we say to them that you can go to your doctor, repeat the test and let you and your doctor decide how you're going to do. What are you going to do about the results? Sometimes the result is false positive. The person may have had sex previously before, and even though we advise them to, sometimes things happen. They might have used a tampon, their period might have just finished, even though we advise them. If sometimes things just do happen, and anything that touches the cervix will cause a change in the cells. So sometimes you get a false positive. So we kind of explain to them that it's not always that when there's an abnormality is that you have cervical cancer, because there are other tests we have to do to make sure that that is the case.
Okay, so can you tell us what are any of the symptoms of cervical cancer?
Some of the symptoms the person can experience will be abnormal bleeding. Abnormal is that you're accustomed to have a regular period at every time for the month, and you realize that I'm having in-between bleeding. I'm having maybe some watery, blood stain, smelling, foul smelling discharge. And so those are things you have to look for, because you don't, and if you have painful sex, or if you have urinary tract infections very regularly, those are things you pay attention to.
And what are some of the causes?
Beg your pardon?
And what are some of the causes of cervical cancer?
Some of the causes, well, some of them we can change, some we can't. So for instance, age, we can't change our age. So as we get older, we are more at risk for cervical cancer.
Oh, wow.
So in late 30s, going into 40s, 50s, 60s, we are at risk. If we have multiple pregnancies, we are at risk, because again, the cervix is being traumatized with each pregnancy, and as that happens, changes in the cells occur, and so it can expose us to cervical cancer. Hence the reason for the pap smear. We have our sex, we can't change, our race, we can't change our race. Black women are exposed, so we can't.
Oh, wow.
Women who smoke, we advise them not to, because smoking can cause changes in the cervical cells, because the byproducts of tobacco can cause changes. It can change some things in your DNA, so we advise no smoking. We also have persons, multiple sexual partners. We advise again, you can use condoms or try to cut down on that part. So that again is a problem. And then if you have a weakened immune system, HIV, if you had chemotherapy and your system is weakened, then you could be exposed to cervical cancer also. Those are just some of the causes of cervical cancer.
Okay, so outside of having a pap smear, can you tell us any preventative measures, anything that we could do at home in our own lives to help? Hello?
Somebody is talking, so I'm not hearing clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I think somebody may also be on a call here. But I was asked, hello? I think that somebody else may be on a Zoom call that is interfering just a little bit. But let's try to see if we could get these last questions in. I was asking, outside of having a pap smear regularly, what else can women do at home in their own personal lives to prevent them from getting cervical cancer?
Well, as I said before, so we can stop the smoking, that's for one. Or if we are secondhand smoke is a problem, so keep from the smoke. We can, as I said, use condoms, decrease the sexual partners, that's two. We can try to boost our immune system, so vitamins, water, fruits, vegetables, keep away from those sugary and salty stuff also, because you want your system to remain healthy. And remember, the HPV virus, if you have that, it can ward off itself within 1 to 2 years if your system is healthy. So if you take care of your body, then the virus will not affect you. So you have to take care of that system.
All right.
Also,
well, again,
we have to avoid stress. We have to avoid, let me say, intense stress, because we can't avoid all the stress, because there are a lot of stresses going around.
Yes.
And we can't avoid all of the stress. So, but we have to try the intense stress and stressing every day. It will change something in our bodies and then cause us to get the cervix to get disturbed, and we can get cervical cancer. And the one thing that a lot of persons do not like to hear now is the vaccine. We do have an HPV vaccine. Unfortunately, it is only given to the children in grade 6 at this time. However, the FDA has approved it for persons 9 to 26, and we give both males and females.
So I'm happy to hear that. I'm also happy that you're advocating that, we live a little less stressed out. So can you remind us, in our final moments, the details of the event? Where is it, the time where the women can go to get tested? And is there a cost?
Okay, so it's free, of course. Okay. And even when we do it at each health center 1 day per week. It's free, so you don't have to pay. But this coming Saturday, January the 29th, we are going to have our drive. We call it a drive because that's when we see over 100 and something women. So we call it a drive. It's free. It's at each health center. It starts at 8 a.m. We finish at 12. However, if you are there, we will not turn you back. So whenever we finish, we are finished. So we're asking women to come out and have their pap smears. And I want women to know that the procedure itself, it's simple for the nurse, but uncomfortable for the client.
And it's very quick from my own experience.
We try to allay their fears. Yes, we try to allay their fears as much as possible, and we inform them as we go along with the procedure. When we are doing the procedure, we have them lie on the bed, and that in itself might be uncomfortable if they're not accustomed. Then we have them put in a position that their knees are bent, their legs are drawn up, and then fall apart. So imagine you don't know me, and then you this position in front of me. So we have to try and allay their fears as much as possible. Then we drape the client to at least to enhance their privacy. And then the nurse puts on her plastic apron or sterile gloves. And we put the speculum in. We ask them to take deep breaths. We use a plastic speculum or we use a metal speculum, depend on the client. And then when you put that speculum in, then the cervix will come through that duck beak, we call it. When you open it, there's this cervix. Then you take your cyto brush, a small brush like this, if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it.
You may have it, yes. Brush. Okay.
And we use a cyto brush, and this brush goes right onto a zone in the cervix you call a transformation zone. That zone, as the word transform implies, that's where all of the changing of the cells takes place. So we put that cyto brush there, and then we do a 360-degree turn. And then it's gone onto a glass slide, a fixator spray is applied, the client's name is on the slide, and that goes with the form to the lab.
Okay. And again, it's not a long procedure. It doesn't last a long time.
It's not a long procedure. It's not a long procedure.
Right. Okay, I want to say thank you, Nurse Walters. That was very informative. And again, we want to invite all the women in Nevis to go to the healthcare centers on the 29th. That is Saturday coming from, is it 10 a.m. to 12?
Yeah, no, it's from 8 a.m.
8 a.m. to 12. Midday. To 12 midday. Yes, to get your free testing.
On 12. And it's free.
All right. Thank you so much, Nurse Walters.
And thank you very much for having me.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you for all that information. You are watching Good Morning SKN. We'll take a brief break and we'll be right back.
I'm here to say kids, Nevis. You don't know if I must represent for the Ministry of Health. Yeah. Respect the COVID protocols. In a time like this, all for one, one for all. St. Kitts Nevis. Don't forget your mask. Wear it everywhere you go. Sanitize before and after everything you do. Cause you never know what's on the surface or the places to go. Maintain a safe social distance between me and you. Keep calm and stay focused. Don't be a fool, seek the facts first. And boost your immune system up. Don't wanna lose no more of us. Mass up furlough, sanitize, observe the protocols all about. Be wise, mass up furlough, sanitize, me family fitting boat, and you. Blessed love and greetings. This is Infamous, and I am here to encourage every Kittitian and Nivision to remember that we have our part to play in the fight against COVID-19. So sanitize, wear your face mask, practice social distancing, and go and get vaccinated. For me no know about you, but me love think it's bad. Easy no man.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning, SKN. Ciao, bango!
Good morning, this is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Ella Fitzgerald, the beloved jazz singer, said, quote, "The only thing better than singing is more singing," end quote. Singers use their voice to convey a range of human emotion, including passion and excitement. One of our local talented singers and songwriters is here with us today virtually. And she is Miss Vanell Powell, and she will give us some insight on her life as a performing artist and songwriter. Good morning, Vanell. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's so amazing to be here.
Yeah, we're happy that you are as well. So the standard question, and we'll get it out of the way early, is, you know, to every singer, when did you begin singing?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question clearly. Could you say it again, please?
The standard question I was saying that we ask to just about every singer when we interview them is, when did you begin to sing?
When did I begin to sing? Okay, so that story is, I started singing when I was 2 years old. I was, okay, you know the story, parents have children, they carry them to the grandparents' house. And this day, because my mother told everybody that passed this story, I was 2 years old and my grandmother taught me to sing Blessed Assurance. And
at 2 years old?
And I sang the whole of Blessed Assurance, all verses and chorus, to my mother. If I didn't sing all, I sang like a good portion of the song, you know, good enough for, like, impressive for a 2-year-old. And from that day, my mother declared I was going to be a singer, and here we are.
Well, she was correct in her prophecy, I guess. So you always seem so confident when you perform. Do you ever experience like stage fright, performance anxiety?
Every single time, without fail. I am nervous. I always get the cold, sweaty palms, heart starts to race every single time. There is no performance. Even just now, coming in here, I was like, oh.
But how do you cope with that?
Sorry?
But how do you cope with that?
how do we cope with it? Well, I mean, I guess with experience and over time, having experienced the nervousness so much, it's not as harsh as it was in the beginning. So what I do before like big performances, I would have, it really depends on the situation, but like for a big performance, I would go into a state of meditation and prayer and stillness and just, ensuring that I'm confident in what I'm doing. I also over rehearse. And when I mean say over rehearse, I mean I sing a song 40 times before I present it. Like it's always, I'm always prepared, like overly prepared. So in the event that I'm nervous, like I can't forget the lyrics or I can't forget the movement because my brain has already been formatted to presenting. So I mean, muscle memory kicks in rather than depending on your confidence, because sometimes it fails.
So your song, I Found You, which we will take a listen to after the break, your creative process in writing that song, can you tell us about that?
Creative process. Sometimes it's pretty terrible, but a lot of times it comes from inspiration of like what's happening in the moment. So like for the song that I wrote, that I debuted with in 2019, I Found You. It's a song that I wrote as a gift to my father on his wedding day. So I interviewed them and I, found, and I really wanted to give a gift that would last, As if you buy a cup, it can break. So I preferred to give something that would last a lifetime. And I was able to effectively, with a lot of prayer, meditation, and a lot of help from my producer friends, able to produce I Found You in 2019.
Okay, but now what kind of singer would you classify yourself as?
I sing songs that inspire people because I prefer, my goal is to always present something I agree with. I would never sing a song that I don't believe the message for. Like that's not me. So I do inspirational songs. I love soul and R&B. I'm a church girl, so I have my gospel in there as well. I guess that's my classification. I don't sing things that are negative. I don't go with the flow. I don't go with the bandwagon. I like to uplift your spirit. By the time you finish hearing me sing, I feel better about my life a little bit in this area.
So I want to know now about your best and most memorable performances, of course, not counting what you just said about I Found You.
The best, most memorable performance I don't think happened. I was selected to be a part of the St. Kitts Music Festival of 2020, where I would have shared stage with Gladys Knight, Coffee, Chronix, and Janae Aiko. And it didn't happen.
It might happen this year.
Sorry?
It might happen this year.
It might happen this year. Hey guys, give me a call. Okay, it might happen this year. It might happen this year. But the one that did happen, I've had a series of my own shows. But my last show that I had is called A Night of Love. And we had it in St. Kitts at the Shadwell Great House. And it was an amazing night. I feel like so far, out of all of my performances, that was my best portrayal. And not a lot of people were there. So to me, it feels very intimate and very, close to my heart. Yeah, so I feel like that one was my best performance. And that happened in March of 2020, 2 weeks before COVID hit us.
I think my favorite performance for you, I might be a little biased, was the opening of Carnival Sugar Mass 49. Like, I love that. I still watch it to this day. Yes.
It was a great performance. How could I forget that one? It was a great performance.
Great.
So who, Vanel, would you consider to be your greatest influence?
My greatest influence would be my mother. My mother passed away 12 years ago, and she taught me to, like always, mommy's quote was, do it right or don't do it at all. And that's kind of what I live by when I'm performing and when I'm dealing with my singing business and stuff. I always try to do it right or just don't do it at all.
Good lesson to have.
So last question before we go. Okay. And we play a little clip of your song. I know lots of artists have a favorite song. Do you happen to have a favorite song? Like something you sing every day in your shower when you're cooking?
To be honest, no, I don't have a favorite song. I appreciate the effort, the work ethic, the lyricism, the marketing structure of a lot of artists, John Legend, Beyonce, CeCe Winans, Whitney Houston. I appreciate their work, but I don't have like a one song that I always go to be honest. Like to me, it's always just an appreciation for the many, many various artists that we have out there, even the unknown ones. Like everybody brings something great to the table. So I just appreciate all music, to be honest. I don't have a one song. No.
Okay, well, Vanilla, I think we've come to the end of our time here with you this morning.
Oh my. Already?
No, you're actually going to be with us.
Oh, yes, she's coming back. I'm sorry.
So you're not done yet.
chasing you away.
Don't go away just yet.
So we'll take a short commercial break, and then we'll come right back to chat with you a little bit more.
When growing your savings, where you save? When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are here with Vanell Powell, of course, albeit virtually, a local performing artist who will give us a live performance of her original song, I Found You. And I have to say, when I asked you that question about most memorable, this one is going to top that list, okay? So take it away, Vanell.
Sure, no problem. So this is my original song called I Found You. We all want to be happy. We all want someone who cares. But love is nothing unless it's shared. My heart is filled with joy. Sometimes all I can say is, "Oi." Love makes us happy, and I'm happy you're happy with me. I found you, my happiness. I found you, my joy within. I found you, the one that makes me laugh, the genuine smile of my heart. I found you. I found you. We walk through life, being stung by love, frustrated by our words, getting lost in the fun. Love knows no barrier, color, class, or age. We only want happiness, no matter the I found you. I found you.
Response.
Thank you so much for having me on this morning.
No, thank you so much for that performance. I was definitely moved by it.
What a great way to end the show, though.
Thank you for doing what you do. It was great talking to you today. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Good Morning SKN. And all of you who are watching live, thank you for joining us for today's edition of Good Morning SKN as well. We're inviting you to leave a comment and let us know what you thought of or think of today's show and the others that we have, of course, on social media.
So join us tomorrow where we'll have Vikish Pickering, local transformation coach, and youth designer Makia Collins. We will also be coming to you again live at Studio 327 INC on Facebook, YouTube. Also remember to follow us on our other social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and even TikTok at Studio 327 INC. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, you get to start your mornings with us. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, SKN.